Father Matt Murdock teams up once again with Elektra, the woman without fear, to try and crack this heat mystery wide open. But will they like the dark and horrible truth they end up uncovering? Well, let's hop into the pages of Daredevil issue number 8, a big oversized 60th anniversary issue, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we hop into the book, we actually get to eavesdrop on a conversation being held by two of the Heat gang members. They say they love wearing the costume, they love the money they make, but at least one of the members is something of a sentimental type, saying he hates having to walk around the neighborhood all Billy Badass and intimidate the local populace. He hated it when he was a cop, and he hates it now when he's a gangster. This surprising moment of introspection ends up getting cut short as Daredevil and his partner Daredevil end up making the scene. Both Matt and Elektra have been running down leads multiple nights in a row, and they think now is finally the time that they'll be able to catch the mysterious general, the Heat's leader, in action. Of course, surprise, surprise, this meeting in the park is all too good to be true, and it's actually an ambush set up to try and catch both Daredevils at once. Matt battles by Elektra's side, and in his internal monologue he talks about how familiar this feels to him, how despite being comfortable in his brand new role as Father Matt in moments like this, hearing Elektra's heartbeat, smelling her sweat, well, you know, it just gets a man a little bit nostalgic, don't you know? Our two heroes make short work of the Heat henchmen, and that's because this is actually an ambush within an ambush, as once again Bullseye is waiting in the wings to try and take Matt out after he's been softened up. I gotta say, I really like how Solid Dynamite handles Bullseye in this scene, because we get to see him do some stuff we haven't seen him do in a long time, and that is make weapons out of anything he can find. In this case, he just opens up a trash can in the park and starts throwing its contents with deadly accuracy. Of course, Bullseye is still no match for two Daredevils, and once his back is against the wall, he ends up pulling out not a weapon, but his cell phone. Bullseye starts live streaming, knowing full well that on top of fighting gangsters and possessed friends, Matt has also been dealing with a real PR nightmare as of recently, and that neither Matt or Elektra would continue to beat him up, what with the whole reveal all devils hashtag hanging over their heads. Hell, when the police come, Bullseye just walks into the car like he was waiting for a cab. Though before he goes, Lester is sure to drop reference to another big theater meeting happening soon. Is it another trap? Well, yeah, of course it's another trap, but sadly, Daredevil doesn't exactly have any other leads. It's after that we actually once again transition to Father Matt in his day-to-day life. We learn that ever since Matt's return from death, he's actually been going to Nelson and North's brand new law office. Every day he rings the bell, and yet every day he ends up running away before he can actually be reunited with his old friend Foggy, because I mean, geez, what do you say to your best friend? Hey, I'm not dead. Maybe God brought me back and gave me a second chance. Maybe that's why he warped reality to make me a priest. No, I don't know the answer to any of these questions, and no, I don't know why I didn't come and see you sooner. More than anything though, Matt fears that if he does actually go through with seeing his old friend again and return to his old life, he might actually be spitting in the face of whatever force actually did resurrect him. But maybe if he survives his next run-in with the Heat, he'll take that as a sign to reconnect with Foggy finally. Now, later that night, when Matt and Elektra do manage to crash the big meeting held by the Heat, they're shocked to discover that despite their efforts to whittle down the gang, their forces are bigger than ever before, and I mean, really, it should come as no surprise. The Heat are dirty cops, so every time they send them off to the police, they're just getting cut loose all over again by their friends. And even the few good cops on the force wouldn't dare raise their hand or voices against the dirty cop, blue wall of silence and all that. Both Daredevils end up being very taken aback though once they realize that the MC of tonight's event is none other than Bullseye, who decided to dress up with a little sport jacket. He says that the Heat have been making great strides recently as a criminal organization, but that he sees much bigger and better things in their future, that at this rate they could become a real deal true army. And that this is what the General, the Heat's mysterious benefactor, has always wanted for them. Bullseye even says that he's never been the boss type, he's a solo operator, he gets paid to make bodies and he does it. But this General guy, he's different, he's someone worth believing in, someone who might wear a suit, but someone who came from humble beginnings and isn't afraid to get blood on his hands. A man who's had many names and worn many hats over the years, politician, businessman, crime lord, but at the end of the day, none of those things made him happy. No, as the General reveals to the assembled Heat, he's only ever really been happy when he was ruling over the same couple blocks in Hell's Kitchen, and that's because the General is, you guessed it, none other than Wilson Fisk the Kingpin. In a twist that manages to be both not shocking shocking at all, and still kind of shocking. Now, that might be where the main story ends, but because this is a special anniversary issue, we've got a series of fun little one-shot backups. I'm not going to cover them all in depth, but they are fun and they do deserve a little bit of love. The first one is an Elektra story that reminds us that, oh yeah, Elektra adopted a kid named Alice, didn't she? That kid's a little kick-ass crime fighter too, and we're probably going to see more of her in the brand new Daredevil Woman Without Fear series that we're actually getting fairly soon. The rest are actually a series of fun little Daredevil period pieces. The first one sees him don the yellow suit once again to save a kidnapped deaf girl, who was taken from her school the same day that Matt Murdock himself just so happened to be doing a career day speech. There's a cool little 70s throwback that sees Matt do battle against Turk Barrett in a Turkish bath, while also getting two crooks to repent while also getting lusted after by their girlfriends. There's a very 90s horrific return to the black armored suit that sees Jack Batlin try and stop the Punisher from killing a young girl's father who asked him for help. And then the final story is another Elektra story that sees her do battle against the Heat while also trying to save a dog. And so that was Daredevil issue number 8, everybody, and once again I thought this was another really well done issue from Saladin Ahmed, helped out a lot by a bunch of very fun and inventive backup stories to help celebrate this big landmark event. I enjoyed that they actually took a break from the whole possessed friends and allies thing to go back to the more down and dirty gangland Heat storyline. I thought it served as a nice little palate cleanser while we wait for the other shoe to drop. As far as the Kingpin ultimately being revealed as the true bad guy behind all of this, I mean, yeah. Who else was it gonna be? Wilson and Matt are just so joined at the hip right now, and I love that whatever they seem to go through is always a reflection of what the other guy is doing. Matt's actually found joy. Just being a simple priest, yet he cannot help but feel the pull of superhero-dom. And the return to his much more complicated life. Transversely, the Kingpin actually managed to make it out of the New York underworld, got married, moved to Krakoa, became the White King of the Hellfire Club. And yet, despite all those huge strides, none of it made him happy, and now he's actually feeling the pull to just going back to being a regular, everyday gang boss. Not even the Kingpin of crime in New York City, that's still Tombstone. Wilson's just kind of bored and wants to get his hands dirty again, and I think there's something really compelling about that. This is also a particularly good-looking book, too, with stuff from Ty Templeton, Aaron Cooter. I like it, it's a good comic, and I think you might like it, too. This series hasn't been nearly as talked about as the last Zdarsky run, but I think they're doing some really good work here. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time, bye bye.